Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode 403. Hope you're all having an awesome July so far. Personally, I love the hot weather where I live, but I also welcome the air conditioning when I'm back at home. It's funny, people ask me as a tech journalist, what's the greatest invention of the 20th century? Like, is it TV, the internet, GPS, mobile phones? But I gotta say, air conditioning is right up there. I believe it was invented right at the turn of the 20th century. Anyhow, I mentioned it's the 403rd episode of the show. So on the milestone 400th episode, we gave away a great laptop. And then we announced the winner on the 401st episode. Then Ecovacs, the robotic home cleaning company with all kinds of robot vacuums and mops, lawn cutting bots, and even window washing robots, they said to me, hey, we'd love to give away a prize to Tech It Out listeners if you'd like. And so I said, sure. And the value was over $2,300. Last week on the 402nd episode, we announced the winner. Her name is Kayla Solomon, and she was one of the almost 700 people who reached out. It was on Instagram, and her name was randomly chosen. I used the website calculator.net. They have a random number generator. And so I just shared all that on social media this week. So if you've been waiting to hear who won and you don't follow me on social media, thank you for entering to win, and we'll have to arrange for other giveaways going forward. Speaking of last week's show, we also had LG on as a guest to talk about what's new in TVs, and we got the 411 on the first smart safe to protect your valuables at home. And if you missed it or would like to hear it again, you can hear those interviews in last week's podcast episode, available on demand, of course, from the likes of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spreaker, and so on and so forth. Again, that's episode 402. But we have a great show planned for you today as well. In fact, we have 3 guests standing by. We're going to start off with the app Nextdoor and what's new from them. This is the very popular neighborhood-centric social media app and website that has just undergone a huge refresh of sorts. So we're going to hear what's new from Nextdoor. After that, a toothbrush that completely changes the game. Why is it on a show about technology? Well, you've probably heard it should take 2 minutes to brush your teeth properly if you grew up learning that, as I did. But how about doing so in 10 seconds? And it's allegedly an even better clean than a traditional toothbrush. So we're going to get the skinny on that with the company. They're called Y Brush. That's the letter Y, brush. And finally, Solus portable hotspots are becoming a popular travel gadget. It's actually 2 products in one. It's a mobile hotspot, kind of looks like a hockey puck, that lets multiple devices get online in tons of countries around the world without needing Wi-Fi. And it's also a power bank that can juice up your phone and other gadgets that you may carry around, like a smartwatch or Bluetooth earbuds and so on. So Solus will be on Tech It Out today as well. All of this and more on a brand new Tech It Out powered by Visa, which I'll tell you more about shortly. But without further ado, let's officially kick off the brand new show with our first interview. Because of its immense popularity, chances are you've heard of the Nextdoor app by now, or perhaps even use it in your community. Even if you haven't, no worries, as the social media platform that services neighborhoods has just undergone a rebranding of sorts. And so we're going to learn all about what's new with Nextdoor with Sarah Leary, co-founder and chief marketing officer of Nextdoor. Welcome to the show, Sarah. Good to chat with you.
Thanks for having me on, Mark. It's a real pleasure.
Great. Now, hey, before we talk about what's new, as I just hinted at in my introduction, for those who haven't yet spent any time on Nextdoor, can you tell us at a high level what it's all about?
Sure. So Nextdoor is the essential neighborhood network. Our mission is simple but very powerful. It's to make every neighborhood feel like home. And we do this by connecting neighbors, not users or members, but verified neighbors, to the people, places, and information around them. Whether that's borrowing a ladder, finding a handyman, or staying updated during a wildfire, Nextdoor is where real life connections can happen online and then in person. And what we've seen is that over the course of the last many years, people are increasingly spending more and more time behind screens. And yet we think that technology can be a meaningful way to help you connect to the real world communities right outside your front door. And that's what we're focused on with the new Nextdoor.
And I mentioned off the top, Sarah, that it's very popular. Can you quantify that?
Sure. We have over 100 million neighbors around the world in 11 countries, with 1 in 3 U.S. households using Nextdoor. In Canada, we have 1 in 3 households in the greater Toronto area, and just excited to see that millions of people around the globe are using Nextdoor as a way to stay connected to their neighborhood.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anecdotally, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law have had, unfortunately, some break-ins on their street. So they're leveraging Nextdoor for everybody to keep up to date, talk about different alarm systems and other neighborhood watch initiatives to address this concern. But that's one example of how they're using Nextdoor. And I know there's now a new redesign as of the spring. Can you tell us about it? I think it focuses on 3 core neighborhood needs: alerts, news, and faves or favorites.
Yes, this is the biggest product overhaul that we've had in our 14-year history. And we've rebuilt Nextdoor around 3 important areas that neighbors have told us is very important. And the whole goal of this is to help neighbors stay informed with timely and relevant information. The first one is around alerts. And this is where we will be delivering for folks real-time verified updates on safety issues that might be happening in their local area. So this could be a time of a serious crisis like a wildfire, but also times when there's power outages or safety alerts in the neighborhood. And the idea is that we can send out this information as it's happening. Interestingly, we've partnered with an Edmonton-based company called SanDisk, as well as weather.com, to provide these alerts in a timely way. And this is just a great example, the example that you gave already with your family and wanting to stay involved. What we've heard time and time again is that people like to turn to Nextdoor to stay informed about what's happening, to share information, and then to connect with other neighbors to help be better prepared and keep their neighborhood safe. And we believe with alerts, we'll be able to share that information in a more timely way while still allowing the neighbors to have conversations about what's happening.
Great.
The second area that I'll call out is around news. And what we've heard from neighbors over the years is that they want to stay informed about what's happening in their local community. And one of the best ways to do that is to tap into the great articles that are being written in local news publications. And so we've partnered with over 3,500 local publications across the US, the UK, and Canada to bring daily articles that are relevant to neighbors. We map those to specific neighborhoods based on the content of those articles so that neighbors can read what is happening in their local area and then discuss it with their neighbors. In areas of Canada, for example, we have partnered with the Toronto Star. That's one example. And we have several more like the Ottawa Business Journal, the Green Line, and North City. And those are just an example of some of the early partners that we're working with to bring hyper-local news to neighbors in their neighborhood.
Great. I just wrote an article in the Toronto Star today, so I'm happy to hear that.
Fantastic.
All right, so we've covered alerts and news. Let's cover faves, and then I have a couple of questions about alerts and news too. But faves is the third pillar, if you will, for this hyper-local content.
Right. So we're very excited about neighborhood faves. As many people know, folks have been turning to Nextdoor for years to share local recommendations amongst neighbors. In fact, over 30% of all the posts are about people sharing their recommendations for the hidden gems in a neighborhood. But in this day and age, we want to be able to really harness that in a smart way. So we're using AI technology to summarize those recommendations. So a neighbor can come in, they can ask a question, what is the best place to go for a hike? And within seconds, we'll be able to deliver to them a summary of the best recommendations in their local neighborhood using AI as a summary, pulling from the recommendations from their actual neighbors. This is an area that we are in early testing. We're actually in beta tests in select cities in the US, and the plan is to roll out across the US and in Canada in the months and days ahead.
It's funny where my mind is at. I was going to say, so what's the best taco place nearby? And you're talking about hikes. So yeah, we're really not on the same wavelength here.
But it will work for hikes. It will work for taco places. It will work for recommendations about what should I grow in my garden.
Yeah, fair. I'm just teasing. I'm going to ask Sarah Leary, our guest, co-founder and CMO of Nextdoor, more about the alerts part of it, especially with the tragic events of Texas the other week and wildfires that are raging through Western Canada and affecting the air quality considerably in other parts of Canada and in the US as well, especially in the Northwest as well as the Midwest, the northern states there. I'd love to learn how specifically Nextdoor can help. So we're going to get to that. And then don't forget, we have 2 other guests planned for this hour as well. We're going to learn about the Y Brush. This is a new kind of electric toothbrush that claims to clean your mouth as well as, if not better than, a regular toothbrush in just 10 seconds. We'll hear all about that. And also on the show, Solis, S-O-L-I-S. This is a company that makes a very popular travel gadget that has 2 purposes. Most importantly, it's a portable hotspot. So it works in over 100 countries where you can get access to the internet through cellular connectivity on multiple devices for you and maybe your family or coworkers without relying on public Wi-Fi hotspots, which isn't safe. And it's also a backup battery. It's a power bank as well. So there's a lot more to get to on the program. You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman, continuing with Nextdoor when we return after this short break. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this program and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I'm thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they've made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online using your Visa card. There can be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority 1 at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. We are chatting with Sarah Leary. She is co-founder and CMO of Nextdoor, a very popular app. It's free to use for your neighborhood. It's hyper-local with alerts. So as we recently saw in Texas, the very unfortunate natural disaster that took place there and all the lives that were taken, as well as in Western Canada with wildfires, this could help with natural disasters as well. I think you hinted at something earlier in our chat. So the alerts can also tell you and your neighbors about something they should know about that could potentially save lives.
For years, Nextdoor has been a vital piece of infrastructure that has helped neighbors stay informed about what's happening. But what we're doing now in response to the so many episodes that we see across the North America in terms of wildfires or flooding is that what we're doing is we're partnering with SanDisk to provide immediate, timely alerts. So as something is happening, we'll send out an alert to people to notify them that there's something critical happening. This creates a centralized place where neighbors can come together and stay informed, as well as discuss how they're going to respond to it. And we saw this with wildfires in Canada. We saw wildfires down in Southern California earlier this year,
of course,
as well as the flooding in Texas. And our goal here is to really help neighbors stay informed with the best possible information, as well as allow local public services and agencies to be able to comment and provide further information as a situation is unfolding. We really look at this as a powerful way for people to know what's happening in their neighborhood, especially when there's critical issues that are unfolding real time.
If someone's teen, like let's say my daughter, Maya, wants to be available as a babysitter, what section would that go under? How does that work when you want to post something that may not fit one of those 3 categories?
Sure. Well, we allow people to use the platform to share information as they see fit. That specific example of someone who wanted to offer babysitting services would be great for the classifieds where they could list their availability. And the great thing about it is that that goes out to your local neighborhood so that you can be sure that you're connecting with neighbors who are nearby and in the local area. And that's something that I think all parents will appreciate.
Yeah, no doubt. Would it also be classifieds for using Nextdoor to buy and sell or trade items with others? I know people have leveraged Nextdoor for that. Like if you want to do some spring cleaning and make a couple of bucks on the side. I love the whole circular economy side of things.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, Mark. It's one of the most popular ways that people like to use Nextdoor. And so we have a whole section for sale and free where neighbors can list items for sale, or oftentimes we see people listing things for free because obviously given that it's your neighbors and these are all people who live around you, the opportunity to just drive over and maybe pick up that bookcase and use it in a second bedroom is something that makes a lot of sense. So we see that as a very common use case where people are turning to Nextdoor to recycle and share those items that they maybe aren't using anymore.
And again, I just want to remind our listeners that Nextdoor is very much your neighborhood. It's not like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or Kijiji in Canada where you can buy and sell or trade or donate with people from other suburbs or other cities. This is directly tied to where you live. And that's one of the biggest distinctions here. And then before I let you go, Sarah, and of course ask how we can get going if our listeners aren't on Nextdoor yet, for those who like to advertise to specific neighborhoods, what can you do there and what's new with this refresh, this rebranding?
We've been offering for years the ability for advertisers to be able to use the platform to be able to target folks in their local neighborhoods. And we're just excited about how the new Nextdoor will bring more neighbors and provide even more context for them to be able to reach a broader audience. We know advertisers are excited about seeing a platform continue to grow that's focused on delivering daily audience and providing the type of information that frankly is hard to find anywhere else on the web.
Great. So I open up a new pickleball place and I want to advertise to a certain neighborhood. I can leverage Nextdoor for that. So services or products, if it's a store, a restaurant, a cafe, a nail salon.
The platform is designed for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, as well as national brands to be able to do hyper-local targeting at scale. The new Nextdoor is available today at the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and of course at nextdoor.com. And so we encourage everyone to update their apps today to ensure that they're getting the latest version of Nextdoor.
All right. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. Sarah Leary from Nextdoor. Great to chat with you and congrats on the relaunch or rebranding or refresh of Nextdoor. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mark. Really excited for people to check out the new Nextdoor.
When we return on Tech It Out, a new kind of toothbrush that claims to clean your teeth in just 10 seconds and just as good, if not better, than a regular toothbrush, so the company claims. So we're going to learn all about Y Brush when we return. That's the letter Y, brush. And then after that, a great gadget for travelers, perfect for summer. So we're going to get to Solus as well this hour. Stick with us. More Tech It Out coming right up after this short break.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. Back in January of 2019, I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding a product called Y Brush, billed as a faster and smarter electronic toothbrush that can simultaneously clean your teeth in just 10 seconds, no less. And so I had the founder and CEO on the show at the time, and he's joining us once again to give us a Y Brush 101 and an update on where the company is at. We've got Benjamin Cohen on the line all the way from France. Welcome back to the show, Benjamin. Good to chat with you.
Hi, Mark. Good to talk with you.
So why don't we start right from the top? What is Y Brush? And for our listeners, it's spelled the letter Y dash brush.
Exactly. So YBrush is a sonic toothbrush which is able to brush your teeth simultaneously in 10 seconds instead of the 2 minutes recommended by the dentist. In fact, it's like a sonic toothbrush, like an electric toothbrush. It's composed with an handle which is able to generate sonic vibrations, and with a brush head, which is very flexible, with a Y-shaped brush head, which is very flexible, which is lined with 35,000 of nylon bristles, able to brush all the teeth, all the sides of all your teeth at once.
Okay, so again, I just want make sure my listeners get this, that instead of the recommended 2 minutes with a manual or electric toothbrush that we may have in our bathrooms today, YBrush is in the shape of a Y, but you put it in your mouth and it'll clean all your teeth, top, bottoms, and sides, all at the same time, so that you're getting a comparable clean in 10 seconds? Or is it as good? Can you talk to us about how well it works?
It's as good as a 2 minute toothbrushing. And the fact is, usually people don't brush their teeth for 2 minutes. The average brushing is more around 1 minute. So in fact, we do at least the same, but usually it's more effective as a standard toothbrushing.
Okay, because we're not doing the recommended 2 minutes, is what you're saying, most of us.
It depends, of course, but some people do the 2 minutes, but the main part of the population do an average of 1 minute.
And have you had dentists agree? I don't think you're a dentist yourself, Benjamin. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But have you done studies that prove it's as effective as a manual or electric toothbrush that we use today?
So we have worked with many dentists. On my part, I have a background as a researcher. I did some studies in Harvard in the US, even if I was based in France.
Oh, cool.
We did many clinical studies, and the main part of the studies shows that YBrush has exactly the same effectiveness as a good 2 minute manual toothbrushing. And we just unveiled a few days ago a study which showed that with YBrush, you get a 2 times more efficient brushing as the leading sonic toothbrush.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this study is very, very powerful, since this is the main study we have which compares to the electric ones.
And you did call it a sonic brush. So you press a button, I presume, and you put it in your mouth and it does its thing?
Yeah, when it's your mouth, you only have to do 2 very simple gestures. You have to chew like a chewing gum and to move from left to right to brush the back teeth. If you have wisdom teeth, you have back teeth, it's important to do this gesture. And in fact, when you get the product, you have a QR code to scan, and then you get an interactive video which explains you step by step how to use the product. If you have any questions, just click on the button, and then you get the customer service. So because this is very important to get used to the product, to get used to the feeling, to get used to the gesture. But with this QR code, you get everything to start.
Okay. We are chatting with Benjamin Cohen. He is founder and CEO of the company, which is the same name as the product. It's YBrush, Y-Brush. And this is a electric or sonic toothbrush that is not with the classic handle and bristles at the top that you're probably used to. It is in the shape of a Y. You put it in your mouth, and the company claims that within 10 seconds, you're going to get as good as, if not a better clean than the alternative methods. So, Benji, obviously we met 5 years ago. What have you been working on? Is this patent pending? Have you been improving it? Give us an update from the last time that we talked.
Yeah, so we have many patents, and when we spoke a few years ago, I think the patents were pending, but no, they were released. Since 5 years ago, we launched new generation of the technology. So no, because in 2019 when we chat, we just finished in 2018 a Kickstarter.
Right.
Start to ship the product at the beginning of 2020. So now we have the 3rd generation of the product on the market. Since in the last months, we mainly focus in the US market. So now if you are in the US, you can buy on Amazon.com. You can buy on our website, which is y-brush.co, directly in the US from our US inventory.
Before we talk pricing, Benjamin, does YBrush need to be replaced, or any of those parts like the heads need to be replaced over time?
No, you only have to replace the head every 4 months. The battery is built in, so it's inside, and you only have to charge for 2 hours, and you get 3 months of charge, but that's it.
How much does it cost in the US?
So in the US, it depends where you buy the product. It's on Amazon. It starts at $79, and in our website, we have plans starting at $29.
Oh, big difference. Okay.
We have one model for the kids too, because we spoke mainly for the adults toothbrush, but we have one for the kids, because usually parents try to find a solution for the toothbrushing problems.
Okay. And that's the one that's 29 because it's smaller.
No, the one at 29 is a plan where you buy the product at 29, but you get quarterly refills with a 1-year membership. If you don't want to get a 1-year membership, it starts with a dual brush at $79.
Before we wrap up, have you ever heard from some of the big toothbrush makers like Oral-B and Philips? Have you heard from them over the last 5 years?
Yes, of course. I think we met at the CES, right? Perhaps we discussed.
Yeah, we met 5 years ago at CES.
It was directly on the booth. So usually for this kind of show, we get many people from Colgate, from Oral-B, Philips, etc. So we used to discuss with them, yeah.
Okay.
But for now, they're still working on traditional brush heads.
Fair enough. All right. And so the best website, again, is y-brush.co. And that's the letter y-brush.co. That's the US website. Benjamin Cohen, great to chat with you. Glad to hear that you're still going strong. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mark. Bye-bye.
From teeth to travel, we're going to learn all about the Solus portable hotspot when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check it out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. It's travel season, and instead of paying through the nose to roam with your existing mobile carrier, many opt for renting an eSIM for their smartphone. But there's another solution as well, especially for those who want to use a tablet or laptop to get on the internet while in another country. So to tell us all about the Solus Go, that's the name of the product, SOLIS, is Eric Plam, president of the company behind the product called Simo. Welcome to the show, Eric. Good to chat with you.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to be here.
So why don't we dive right in? At a high level, what is Solus Go?
Right, and we have a couple different models. Solus Go is a Wi-Fi mobile hotspot. It's a portable device, battery-powered device, sort of like, you can think of it like a smartphone, but no screen. And what it does is it provides you with Wi-Fi access all around the world in over 140 countries.
All right, so it's like joining your wireless router at home, for example, where you want to get on the internet on various devices, a phone, a tablet, a laptop, a desktop. But this is portable. So you're using Wi-Fi to connect to the Solus Go, but then it uses cellular connectivity. Is that right?
That's right, Mark. And so in real rough terms, here's how this works. It's our device connects to the local 4G or 5G networks around the world. So a lot of people have heard 4G as LTE, same thing. So our device connects to that network. Here's what makes our product different than other ones. We have a multi-carrier capability. And so our device can actually find the strongest signal regardless of what the underlying carrier is. And then what we do is we take that signal and we turn it into a Wi-Fi signal for any of your devices, whether it be your smartphone, your tablet, or your laptop. We can power multiple devices off of the same Wi-Fi hotspot using that same connection to the carrier's 4G or 5G network.
Got it. I know a lot of people who have a summer home, like on a lake kind of thing, a cabin, a cottage. They also like these devices because they don't have year-round Wi-Fi in those secondary homes in many instances, right? So very practical solution. But you're right. Usually you would buy or rent one of these portable hotspots from your carrier. So from a T-Mobile, an AT&T, a Verizon. And so it can be used both locally, like if you need a hotspot, but as well overseas.
Yeah. And in most of those countries, we provide multiple carrier support. So not just one carrier like a normal phone would be where you'd be tied to your one carrier. But in those 140 countries, we support 1, 2, 3, or even 4 different carriers.
All right. So I mentioned eSIMs off the top, which is becoming more and more popular. Modern phones don't require a little white SIM card. It's done digitally. And that is becoming popular for world travelers because it's cheaper than using your mobile phone number to roam overseas. So can you clarify that with the Solus Go, it does not require a SIM card? It is like an eSIM or a virtual SIM solution?
That's right. So what you're describing is eSIM, and eSIM is it's a very good technology. It's very popular, and for certain circumstances, eSIM makes sense. For example, if you want to switch from one carrier to another carrier and stay there for a while, it can make sense, and it works on one device. So for example, your smartphone or your tablet. If you have multiple devices, you're going to need multiple eSIMs. And the other thing to remember too is that if you're traveling with coworkers or friends or family, you're going to need an eSIM for each of those devices. So imagine if you're traveling with a family of 5, each having a smartphone and a tablet, you might need 10 different eSIMs. But it is a good technology. However, here's where we're different, is we have one product, one device, and yes, you do carry the device, but it'll handle depending on which model device you buy from us, between 10 to 20 different connections. So you could have an array of smartphones and tablets and laptops all connected to the same Wi-Fi hotspot device.
And because it's battery powered, you're not limited to just doing this in, say, a hotel room where it's plugged into the wall. You can bring this to the beach, and everybody on a different device, an e-reader, a smartwatch, a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, everybody can get on it at one time.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And there's another difference too. A lot of people ask us the difference between eSIM, and our technology is called vSIM, by the way, as in virtual SIM. And a couple of differences. And one of those is with our product, you're always on a local network. We're actually not a roaming product. It's not a roaming service. So roaming is actually very inefficient. Let's say, just as an example, you go and travel to Paris, but your home is, let's say, Los Angeles. The data path goes all the way back to Los Angeles, where your home network is, in order to provide you that service in Paris. And so it slows down the service. It makes it clunky, high latency, and also it gets to be very expensive to do roaming. So what we do is we help our customers to avoid roaming by always delivering behind the scenes. We're always delivering a local SIM card.
If you are using the Solus Go to get online without paying your provider for roaming, do you still have your phone number? Do you have to activate Wi-Fi calling?
Yeah. There's some really creative things, and I can explain it probably in a way that makes sense. This is how I travel. Is I personally use T-Mobile, but just about any of the other carriers in US or Canada could be the same concept. And I have a really good roaming package on T-Mobile, and it's included in my plan, but it's very slow. It's deliberately throttled down to below 256 kilobits per second. So it's really great for just getting email. Not very good for web surfing or even using applications like Maps. But the good thing is people can call you on your phone, and you can receive those phone calls, and you can also receive the text messages. You layer in a Solus Wi-Fi hotspot, and now you get the really fast, snappy broadband for very inexpensive. In my mind, that's the best combination. One of the problems with eSIM is that when you put an eSIM in, you very likely won't have access to your home phone number and texting. So if somebody texts you, there's some kind of emergency at home or something somebody wants to share by text, you may not get that when you're traveling overseas and using an eSIM.
Fair. More with Eric from Solus when we return on Tech It Out.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We are chatting with Eric Plam. He is president of SEMO, talking to us about the Solus family of devices. We should also tell our listeners there are a couple of products. So we've been talking about the Solus Go, which has a very cool feature. It not only has a built-in battery that you can charge up your phone or your earbuds or what have you, but it even has the cables built in, a lightning cable for legacy iPhones and AirPods, as well as USB-C for modern iPhones and iPads and Android devices. Then there's also the Solus Hero hotspot, which kind of looks like an orange hockey puck, if I may. That also has a huge power bank inside, a backup battery for charging up your devices, but it doesn't have the cables built in. That's basically the difference. So those are just two in the Solus hotspot family, but there are others as well. And how long approximately would the battery last? Obviously, it's going to take away some of the battery life if you use it to charge up your phone. But if you don't, roughly how many hours of internet access can you get?
Yeah, you can get up to 48 hours of battery life
wow.
using it as a Wi-Fi hotspot. And of course, it depends on how much you're using. And if you're really drawing down lots of data, it becomes more battery intensive too, but up to 48 hours. And now if you use it as a power bank, it's definitely going to shorten the battery life.
That's fair. And just to be clear, that's for the Solus Go. That's the one that lasts up to 48 hours. The Solus Hero is up to 18 hours. Still impressive. And then before I let you go, Eric, not only would our listeners, of course, like to know how much the Solus products cost, and I know you've already mentioned there's a couple of different ones, but how the data charges work. So if it's jumping around between potentially different mobile phone carriers when you're overseas, how does that pricing work? Because I know when I buy an eSIM, it's relatively cheap. It'll be like, all right, it's $5 for 3 gigs of data, but you're usually locked to one provider. But the pricing is all known upfront. How does it work with your solution since it can leverage different mobile networks?
Right. Well, first of all, we make it really easy. A lot of times when people buy a Wi-Fi hotspot, they also have to go and procure SIM cards to put in it. But I just wanted to reiterate that that's not necessary with our product. So our product has built-in service. And in fact, for any customer who buys our product, they get what we call lifetime data. That means for the life of the device, as long as you have it, you get 1 free gigabyte per month that can be used anywhere in the world. And then when you need additional data, you come to our store. It's a very easy store to get to, an online shop, either accessible through our app or through the web, and you can buy any sort of data package you want. For example, you could get a day pass if you're just going, somewhere, you want a local cafe even, and you want to use it there, you can get a day pass with no obligation to buy anything else beyond that. Or you could get what we call Go data. You could get 5 or 10 or 25 gigabytes, and it auto renews to make sure you're never out of data. That's another option. And one of our most popular options is something called UMS, Unlimited Monthly Service. And so we have a couple of unlimited services available depending on what geography you want them in. But we make it super simple to choose and pick the one that you want and sign up for it.
For the Solus Hero product, what would be the starting cost?
So, Mark, for the Solus Hero product, it's $169 to buy the device. And it comes with 10 gigabytes of data bundled together with it.
And that's separate from the 1 gig you can use per month?
That's exactly right. In addition, you get the lifetime data, which gives you 1 gig per month for free for the lifetime of the device.
And can you use it domestically too? Again, I painted the scenario of like a summer home where you don't want to pay for internet all year round.
Absolutely. This product is perfect for summer travel, whether you're actually just going down the street to your local cafe, or let's say you're taking a camping trip, going somewhere rural where multi-carrier coverage would be useful. It's a perfect solution. And it's also great for road trips, whether you're going in a car or an RV and the kids have their tablets out and the parents have their laptops out. It powers all those devices for your road trip. The way you can learn more about us is from soluswifi.co. That's soliswifi.co.
All right, Eric Plam's been our guest. Great to chat with you, Eric. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Before we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to SanDisk. Thank you for your support on this program. If you're an iPhone user, you know that you have to commit to a certain amount of storage up front, and it's not expandable. And that's the case with many Android devices today too. But with SanDisk's flash memory, like their USB-C based flash memory, their iXpand devices, they can snap underneath the iPhone. And not only can you back up files to free up more storage on your phone, because as we know, photos and videos can take up a lot of space, but it's fast enough to run off the drive as well. You can play movies on your phone that are off the drive. It's super smooth. So really great stuff from SanDisk. I also wanted to thank Visa one last time for your support. Securing the world's payments is priority one. Head on over to visa.com/security to learn more. And I hope to have an interview for the next episode of Tech It Out with someone from Visa. And hey, that's a wrap. All the best, everyone. Looking forward to catching up with you next time for another brand new episode of Tech It Out. Ciao for now.